Good afternoon. This is Colin,
This is Nisi.
and this is I Got It From Your Mama. So we are here live at the Cohatch in Easton. So thank you for tuning in. This is episode 2 of I Got It From My Mama. And yeah, we're going to just dive right in. So we appreciate you guys um, tuning in, checking us out for the second episode, and just excited to see where this all goes.
Right.
Anything?
Excited.
Excited.
Ready to go.
Well, let's go ahead and start it off with some prayer, and then we'll jump right into the topic. So, Father God, we want to thank you. We honor you. We love you. Thank you for creating this time, this space for mom and I to connect and have some fun and just bond and just let our personality shine through, Lord. Whatever you touch turns to gold, and we trust you. We love you. We thank you for everything. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So, yeah, let's jump right into today's episode, Mom. So, she's going to be shifting the gears for us. She's got the notes. So, what do we got first on the docket?
First, today we're going to talk a little bit about why Colin isn't an OSU fan. He never has been and never will be.
Mm-mm.
And we're going to discuss it today and find out the reason why he isn't an Ohio State fan.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Ohio State. Let's talk about that. Ohio State Buckeyes. It's not that I'm not an Ohio State fan. It's just that y'all have so many fans anyway. You don't really need an extra one. Like, what difference am I going to make? And I feel like Ohio State. I don't know, man. It's just something. It's a I don't know, a rites of passage. I don't know. Like I coming up, I guess you were a fan. You guys watched the games and stuff growing up, but Dad's not a huge Ohio State fan,
No.
and you're a fan, but I don't know. We never went to games, or we never honed in on like the traditions or anything like that. So there was really nothing for me to attach myself to. So I don't know. I always like rooting for the underdog, and even though Ohio State wasn't really the best in the '90s with John Cooper, they were kind of underdogs, but I don't know. It just never spoke to me. I don't know. Maybe like I know for UC, one thing that I'm gonna try to do with the kids is to get them involved, young, and watch. They'll probably go to UC games and be damn near Bearcats, and then they'll want to go to Xavier because that's just what kids do.
Right.
But I could speak for myself and my upbringing and being 30 minutes from campus. I was just never really in it. I don't know. I wasn't made.
But we always watched the games. I always had a little chips and dip or a little something for us for the games. We always watched the games.
Mm-hmm.
I was always a fan.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. I just don't understand why you never were a fan. However, your grandmother had, God rest her soul, she thought that the reason why you were not a fan was because when I was pregnant with you, your dad was stationed in Washington. We were in Washington State, and I had a high risk pregnancy, and about 7 months in, she says, "You need to come home and have that baby at OSU. You're having complications and problems, and those folks on that Army base don't know what they're doing. You need to get on the plane and come home." And she took it to her grave. She says that she had 17 grandchildren, 16 of them loved Ohio State, and you were the only one that wouldn't have anything to do with Ohio State. And she swore that it was because I had you in Washington State, and you just just didn't fit. But I didn't agree with that because I know your personality.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you just like working people up. You want to
Mm,
go, if everybody goes right, you're going left.
mm. That
And
makes sense.
it drove her nuts. And
Mm-hmm.
it me too. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I could not even put my grandchildren in Ohio State gear. I mean, that really got to me.
What do you mean you couldn't put your grandkids in the house they
You
gear? Are you
told
talking
me,
about my kids?
yes, your
Oh,
children. You said I couldn't buy, Grayson a Ohio State cheerleading outfit, no jersey or sweatshirts for Remy.
yeah.
So you're like, on Saturday they're going to be repping Bearcats. So I don't know why you're buying that because they're not going to wear that stuff.
And yeah,
So
that sounds about right.
that's you.
That
That
sounds
that that's truly you. So I mean, you are not an Ohio State fan.
no.
So, but I think a part of you do it just to get up under our skin.
Mm,
I've learned over the years to just ignore you.
mm,
Why are you a Bearcat fan?
mm.
I've got my ideas of why that too.
Yeah.
So
Well, what are your ideas on that?
I think that Cincinnati was the first time that when you went to college, that was the first time you were away from home.
Mm,
Um, you're finding yourself, and you grew up there, and um, then you started dating a girl from Cincinnati. You fell in love with a girl from Cincinnati. You're married to a Cincinnati girl, which is fine. I mean,
mm,
she's cool.
mm.
I mean, she's good. She's a good girl.
Yeah. Shout out to CC. What's up, man?
Shout out CC, yeah. Um, but I think that that's what it is. I think I mean, you even compare the skyline.
Yeah.
The skyline in Cincinnati is better than the one in Columbus. I mean, you just love Cincinnati,
Yeah.
so you don't care for Ohio State.
Well, I got
You know,
class. Like are you Ohio State fans or something else?
yes, we are,
Y'all.
and we are strong, and we will come at you. And I mean, it is what it is. I've always been. I didn't. I've always been an Ohio State fan. I cannot remember me being any other fan
Hmm.
other than an Ohio State fan all my life. I mean, I'm thinking I'm going all the way back to elementary school.
Yeah.
I always have been an Ohio State fan. My family, um, everyone in my family worked for the state of Ohio,
Hmm.
and most of them worked up on campus at OSU.
Hmm.
So my mom retired from OSU. My grandmother too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just in us. It's
Yeah.
just what we are. I think
Mm.
it's just who we are.
Yeah. I don't know. Ohio State, if they're on a big stage and they're playing against Texas or they're playing against you know another school that's of the same caliber, I'll
Right.
root for Ohio State.
Oh, you
But
will.
but
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I don't know. I just don't like the fact, and this was early, of course, since 2002 when they beat Miami.
Right.
They've kind of slayed
Right.
Goliath, and they've
Right.
they've been doing their thing the last 20 years in,
Right.
in football. But it just seemed like when I was coming up, they would beat up on all the little schools. And then when it's time for them to be the mighty Ohio State Buckeyes, they would always fold. They would always get beat. But, you know, it is that times have changed.
Yes, times have changed.
There is a great program,
Yeah.
great school.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ohio State.
Right.
Shout out to University of Cincinnati. But I don't know. I like the underdog, and to me, University of Cincinnati is more of an underdog
Yeah.
than Ohio State.
And it
And
always will be.
no, I
I
don't know
just
about
want to
that.
let you
I
know
don't know
that
about
it's
that.
not going to
I'm gonna
change.
sip my tea
When
on
you
that.
and I are
I'm gonna
gone,
sip my
it's
tea
going
on
to
that.
Ohio State will always be.
Spokes on the wheel, man. Spokes on the wheel.
Okay.
It's
Hmm.
we'll get our time.
You'll
Don't
get your
worry.
time.
We
I'm
might
not.
see you in the playoffs. You never know.
Well,
You
it won't
never
be
know.
this year. So, I mean, yeah, I'm just keeping it real.
When's your team playing again?
Saturday,
Yeah. What time?
7:30.
Yeah. Who are they playing?
UCLA.
All right. You didn't know I had to prep her on that. I had to tell her to find out when her team plays because I said I know my team is playing. Arizona, Nippert Stadium, 12 o'clock, 12 noon kickoff.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a good year for the Bearcats. A lot better than I expected. I didn't think they'd win more than 3 games. So they're sitting pretty good. Ohio State's doing but they're just
Great.
continuing what their dominance from last year.
Doing
So
great.
I don't wish you guys
Good.
any ill will.
Yeah.
I don't root for Michigan. That could be if
Yeah.
I was trying to get under your skin, I would
Oh
just
yeah.
go straight to
Oh
Michigan,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
That would be more than get under my skin. Excuse the expression. That would piss me off.
I know it would. I know it would. So yeah. So what else we got on there, man?
This one's pretty deep.
Okay.
The biggest lesson that you have learned in the last 39 years.
Mm, the biggest lesson that I've learned the last 39 years.
Right.
Man. So I think this is twofold.
Okay.
Is to keep going, keep moving forward,
Okay.
fail forward, and never let someone's opinion of you determine your outcome.
Wow.
So just because someone feels a certain way about you or says you're this, don't let that become who
Who
you
you
think
are.
you are internally. And yeah, be true to yourself. I think those are my biggest takeaways. What about you? Well, I guess on the flip side of that was 39 and
68.
Yeah. So what would you say?
I think the biggest lesson that I've learned is that do not allow anyone to step all over your dreams and aspirations, no matter how big or small that they are.
Mm-hmm.
Have your own. Um, in a marriage, you're together and you have them together, but I believe that you should have yours, and then your wife should have hers, or I should have mine, and my husband should have his. I think I learned that it's great that we're one. That I'm thinking 20 years, 30 years ago, we were one, but I think that you need to be an individual, and you need to have your own dreams and goals. And if I had to do it all over again, I would have my own dreams and goals. Not that I'm not saying I didn't, but I mean to stand on that, and to push that forward. I think I missed the mark there.
Well, my follow up question to you is, why do you feel like it's over? Why do you feel
Good point.
like this is the end? Like today is the first day of the rest of your life.
That's true. And that's a good follow up question, because um, just because I'm 68 doesn't mean I'm over. I still have some life to live, and I have to remember that, because I press like stop, like it's over, and when you look back at it, people are living great lives in their 90s and whatever. So 68 would be a nice final chapter. 68 and forward would be a nice a chapter. That's a good question.
Your second act.
Yes, second act or third act or whatever.
Or fourth or fifth, but this is your this is you realizing, this is your realization moment of, this is my old way of thinking. Now today I'm gonna turn the page. So that's why I call it your second act. You're born again. They say the best time to plant a tree is what, 20, 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
That's the best time. When's the second best time?
Now. Right
there
now.
There you go. It's today. So so yeah, take that,
run with it. Yeah.
The world has never been so small. Like compared when you were 39 to now, Like the world is small. We're
Yeah.
able to connect with, who knows, potentially millions of people here on online, and this is something that you would never dream of. You're probably working radio 30, 40 years ago and trying to reach an audience of
Yeah. 50 years ago.
250,000 people,
Yeah.
right? And that's a lot.
Yeah.
Now you can reach 250 million people on a
Right.
low scale.
Yeah. On a
Like
very
it
low
can,
scale.
it's
Yeah.
8 billion people out here in the world.
Yeah.
So you never know who rocks with you. You got
You
to
don't
find
know. You got to find
your
your niche.
tribe, your
Yeah.
people, and
You got to
that's that.
find it. And you're like, okay, 39 years. When I think when I was 39,
Hmm.
I had already, of course, had you,
Hmm.
but I was just now having your sister.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
of course.
I was 39 when I had Courtney.
Yeah,
So
there's your problem.
yeah.
That's the problem. Shout out to you, Courtney. Love you, love you. It's all love, but no, it's yeah, that's tough. You had that 9 year
Yeah, span.
gap
Hmm.
of yeah. That's.
Yeah, it's
Do you
like,
think? Do you think it's harder having kids that are spread out like that, or just having kids back to back to back?
well, I'll answer it this way.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to do it all over again,
Mm-hmm.
I would have you. I would definitely would have had you guys
Yeah.
closer. However,
Yeah.
God was in the mix of this
Of course.
because I was like, okay, we're just going to have one child.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have one child,
You accepted it.
and yeah, and we were fine. And then came Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
When I got pregnant with Courtney, the last thing on my mind was that I was even pregnant.
Mm.
I'm like, no, whatever, because in between that time, it was not like we're trying, but we weren't doing anything to prevent it either. So God really was in the midst of getting Courtney here.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I guess He said, I'm gonna bless you with this other child.
Mm.
And so it wasn't because I was doing anything to prevent it.
Mm-hmm.
So evidently, she was supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Miracle. That's awesome. All
Yeah,
right.
she was, now that I look at her, she was our, I mean, your children are a gift
Yeah.
anyway, but she was a special gift because we didn't even plan for her. We didn't even expect that that was even going to happen.
Wow.
I'm thinking. I remember telling a girlfriend. You remember Mary?
Yeah.
Mary, and I said, Mary, I am knocking on the door at 40. I'm gonna be 40 years old. I'm having a baby, but she said evidently that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm. So
Good advice.
yeah,
Good topics. I hope y'all taking notes.
yeah. I hope you're taking notes because life throws you some curveballs
Yeah.
sometimes. Um, to dive into that,
Mm-hmm.
are your parenting styles really that different from mine or your dad's? Are your parenting styles really that different?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a fair question because
Hmm. Okay.
Grayson and Remy are 4, 7, and 4.
7 and 4. Mm-hmm.
I don't really. I don't really know. Well, I'll say this. Our parenting styles, I feel like at the end of it is going to be probably the same, but maybe our paths
Hmm.
might be a little different because I feel like the way that I parent is a little laissez-faire. Like it's not like strict. Like
Not at all.
I kind of want them. It's more. Have you heard of the Montessori?
Yeah.
The Montessori kind of style. Like
Yeah.
let them play, let them kind of learn things on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, yeah, that's hot, right? Don't touch the stove. Like don't do that. I don't want them to have to burn themselves to know that I don't want them to have to get hurt. I'll say this. So I talk to Sierra about this all the time. It's creating safe environments for kids to be able to explore and to grow. So you think of where we live is strategic, right? We live in the cul-de-sac because I want my kids to have that experience of being able to go outside and have some, you can go to the park, but I don't want you to go to the other side of the neighborhood at 7. No, that's not it. But have some leash, have some freedom
Right.
to experience that. Because the thing about parenting, it's a trust factor. You got to be able to trust your kids, right? And I felt with you guys that there wasn't enough trust given, but it's almost like, okay, you have one opportunity, right? If you blow that opportunity, that's it. You
Yeah.
don't get any more
You're done.
opportunities, right?
Right.
But if I give you 10 opportunities, and let's say, okay, you blow one or two, you're still 8 out of 10. You still did a good job.
Eight out of 10, you still did a good job?
8 out of 10, yeah, because we're not shooting for perfection here. We're shooting for practice. These are moments that are going to build you, not knock you down completely. Does that make sense? Because in the long run, what do we want? I want to keep my daughter off the pole, and I want my son to make money, to make ends that are legal. I want him to be able to take care of himself and to be able to provide and all that. I want Grayson to be able to take care of herself and provide without using her coochie, without shaking ass, without do it in a moral type of
Right.
way, right? That's we're landing the plane, right? That's the runway.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? No knock to anybody that's got to do that. OnlyFans is most popular was that social media platform out there. So hey, if that's what you do, not knocking it, just saying that's not what I want for my child. And if Grayson decides she wants that after she's gone, then that's her decision. But between now and 18, this is what I'm trying to provide. So it's a safe space, safe environment for them to go out and make mistakes, but we're there to be able to pick them up, and it's not a catastrophe. It's not a fatal flaw. It might be you scraped your knee, let me help you out, let me, but you don't want your kids to get kidnapped, at the
Right.
same
I
time.
mean, yeah.
But there's anxieties there, right? It's
Yeah.
really your own anxiety. So you gotta teach your kids to recognize strangers, what to do if they encounter a stranger, kind of prep them ahead of time. And I'm pretty lucky because my kids run together. So it's two of them. So I always feel more confident when Grayson and Remy are out doing things like outside. I'm there, keep an eye on them. I feel like all those kids in the neighborhood are my kids. I got love for all of them. I feel a sense of responsibility
Yeah.
for all of them. So I'm
Right.
not saying that I'm inside and they're just out. I'm either in that front room with the window cracked listening, or I'm sitting out on the porch watching. But I don't need to be a helicopter dad.
Mm.
And I feel like at times that you guys were
That way.
that sometimes
Really?
to a certain point. Because I remember growing up in Plain City, in New California, and I was able to move about the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I think there was one time with the hot air balloons, I got in trouble because we were chasing the hot air balloons.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
outside of that, I felt like I did pretty good, and I was thankful for that because I was able to, 7 years old, kind of be out on my own and fend for myself and
Yeah.
make friends, and we had our subgroup, so I
Yeah.
thought it was good for social interaction and framing that and stuff. So I think it's helped me.
Is that one of the reasons why maybe you picked the cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
Because of how it was for you when you were young?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
And then even moving to Delaware, being able to go beyond the neighborhood, go to Bueller's, go to Hobby Lobby, go to McDonald's, that whole west side of Delaware, that was kind of my domain. Anywhere I could travel on the bicycle, was where I went, which is cool, which is great for development. So.
But I allowed you to go, but with Courtney, you had friends and there were different boys and you guys could play. There weren't a lot of girls for Courtney, so I didn't allow her to do all of that. I remember Kim Dar, our neighbor, saying,
What she
Niecy,
said.
are you going to allow her to go around the block? I said, no, because I can't see her over in that other part of the block. You know, I can't see what's going on.
Mhm.
You know, I'm wondering if I, um, you know, didn't prepare her. You know, help prepare her. You were prepared.
Yeah,
So that's what you're saying. You know, when parent, you know, as a parent, I let you go a little more.
yeah,
Courtney, I did not allow her to fly much,
yeah,
go, not without me, you
yeah,
know, without me being right there. So I was a, I was hovering, you
yeah.
know, over whatever.
And I think, I mean, that's the difference between having a son and having a daughter, right?
Yeah,
You're just, I think your guard is up more when you have girls. That's just natural.
right.
So, I mean, if you can get around that and like make sure that she's in groups and doing things, 'cause that's the last thing you want to have to deal with. I mean, it's bad enough if something happens, then it's like you feel responsible. Like I put you in a position.
Right.
But that's what I mean about safe spaces. You got to create those
Safe
safe
spaces.
spaces, like
Yeah.
to raise her up and to be able to make friends and connect with other people, because then you got to connect with the friends' parents, and you got to
Yeah.
build that network
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
it's work. It takes work, and
It does.
I don't knock anybody's parenting, because being a parent is hard.
It is.
It's hard work. I
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't knock anybody. I'm happy that we made it out the way that we did. Like it could be a lot worse. It really could.
Mm-hmm.
And Sierra had an analogy that she used a few years ago about like cooking pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you always mess the first one up.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, then the next ones are usually better. So
Yeah.
then I had somebody say, well, sometimes you get the first one right and you mess the other ones up. And
Right.
I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a good way to flip it too. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Just like you say, parenting is it's rough, and it is not for the weak. You as a parent, you cannot say, hold up, wait a minute, stop, because when you're in it, you're in it,
Yeah.
and you have to stay in it.
Yeah.
And as a parent, you're learning too. You're learning um, things that I did with you. Maybe I didn't do with Courtney because I didn't think that worked,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Um, but I wanted you both to know that we loved you and we cared for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I wanted you to find yourself. Your what am I here for? I wanted you to lead with kindness, lead with love. Um, but I wanted to give you both the reins so you can find out who you were and what you bring to the table. Both of you are different as night and day, and your paths are completely different. Um, you love UC the moment you put your foot on the campus. I remember you putting your foot on there saying, "This is it." I mean,
But I wanted to go to
you
UC
see from
prior to that,
from
like
sixth
sixth grade.
grade,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
from
I
sixth
mean,
grade.
like let's not make it brand new. Like it
No, it
was.
wasn't brand
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
But she was on. I said, "Do you care for it, like it?" All she says, "I don't like it. I don't like it at all."
Yeah. She
She
said she didn't like UC.
yeah, she did. I mean, we looked at UC. She says, "I don't like UC. I don't want to go to
But
UC."
then she went to Toledo.
I know, but she liked Toledo, and I'm like, wow. I mean, that was they're so good. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, as one of our teachers, instructors called it Bancroft Avenue or whatever. I mean, Toledo, but that's where she first went, and then on to Ohio State. But just you were just different. But parenting, I think the biggest gift as a for a couple
Mm-hmm.
is to be blessed to have children, because children they love you unconditionally, but children also, they make you look at life so differently. It's not about us. It's not about me or my husband, your dad. It's about you guys. What can we do um, with you? And once I learned that my responsibility was to make sure that these two children that I brought into this world contributes in a positive manner. I didn't want you guys to make contributions that were negative. I knew you were going to make mistakes. We all do, but I wanted you guys to make a positive, put positive, positivity in the pot. I didn't want you guys to be running around and not making a difference, and in a positive manner. Um, that was very important as a mother. I wanted to make sure that you guys led, like I said, with love, um, kindness, and to remember that tomorrow's not promised, and you can't always get what you want, whatever, but you can make a difference. And I think that when I look back at life and whatever, I think that's something that your dad and I did well. I think we fall short in other areas, but we were good parents. And it was about Colin and Courtney, and I'm grateful that the Lord gave me that to give that to you. And my prayer is that you continue on. My mom went through a rough time or whatever. My father died when I was very, very young. But um, my mom was a good parent, and that's something that I think I got from her. I wanted to contribute. I wanted to be a good parent, and so that's what we did. We talked, and I said, no, we did that thing. It was rough at times and whatever, but we did it. Yeah. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to God that He gave us the tools that we needed in order to be, great parents. I think we have wonderful kids. I think we have even more wonderful grandchildren. I used to read bumper stickers on cars, and it would say, being a grandparent is the best thing in the world. And I'm thinking, how in the world can being a parent, I mean, I was young. How can you be a grandparent be the greatest thing? It really is. To look at your grandmama used to say, that's why we have Jerry's kids, and I'm the one that got full this year, but she used to say, if it wasn't for me, it would be no you. I mean, that had to be a great feeling to have 17 grandchildren and 14 grandchildren, great grandchildren, when she passed, to the number that she's up to, that we're up to now. That's a blessing. And so I don't take that for granted. I don't take it for granted.
Yeah, you don't do it for your first, you do it for your last.
Yeah.
Your last name. And
Yeah.
I
Your last name, your legacy. What are you leaving? What are you, if you're making it, you got to make a difference.
Yeah.
You have to make some type of difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't have any notes. Yeah, you do what you can for your kids with what you have. Do the best.
Right.
I find that less is usually more.
Right.
Like it just seems like you try to give at these kids' level of wanting,
Right.
and there is never appreciated. They never
No.
really appreciate it because it's always the next thing.
Next thing, moving on.
So my biggest hurdle is trying to take the material stuff out of it, and how do you lead with the stuff that you're talking about, the love and just being a good positive member of society, and
Yeah.
being a good friend, and being doing all those
Right. Be
things,
kind.
being kind, and all that kind of stuff to me is definitely
Yeah.
where it's at.
Because next week after Christmas, If you come back a week later, they can't find half the daggone parts to the toy. You go to play a game with them, they don't have the spinner. Where's the pieces? I mean, we used to do the same thing, you know. I mean, I'm like, you know, I look at your kids' toys and I'm thinking, good googly moogly, this is a lot. But, you know, but they have no idea
Nope.
because that's all they know.
That's all I know.
You know, that's all they know. But hopefully, as they grow and evolve,
Yeah.
you know, things will, you know, get better. I look at them and I laugh. It's the silly things with me with them now. You know, it to me, you know, the same thing. It's the silly things with y'all, with you and, you know, with Courtney. You know, you call and I say yes, Colin. What is, you know, or whatever. I do the same thing with Court. You know, she calls and talks about that dog of hers. I mean, but that's her life. I have to remember that's her reality. But I have to remember she's kind. She will do anything for anyone, and you know, yeah. So and that's what you want. I don't have to read about her online, and people, friends, they don't know where their children are, you know, what their children are doing, where their grandchildren, what's going on, and it can be very painful. It can be, painful for people and their loved ones. So I'm just grateful that the Lord has blessed me.
She's off the pole. She
Thank
ain't
God.
selling cat.
That's
That's what you really, not what you
that's a
want.
big deal, you know.
I'm not moving weight, right?
Yeah,
That's, think about it. Think about it a lot, but I'm not.
No,
So
can't do it. You know, what I mean, you just can't do it. It's just not cool. It's just not cool. Mm-mm.
all right. So what else we got on the docket?
That's it.
That was
We
it.
talked about the three main things that we wanted to talk about today. We talked about
Buckeyes,
the Buckeyes,
the biggest. Okay.
the sports, that we wanted to do that, the biggest lesson, and our parenting styles today. We've got some others, but we want to save them for we've got several episodes.